Hi everyone, today is the turn of Sirena von Boo, who needs some tassels making for her wrists. I have everything else for her but not the tassels, so what I've done is I've ordered some tasseling from eBay. It's longer than I need so that I can just literally just pop it around her wrist and stitch it like that and trim it off. The same for the other side, and then cut it to the length that I want. She's had her hair done, so she's all ready to go. The only thing is I've lost her chest thing. It actually looks like a skirt, but it goes around her chest. It's around somewhere. I will find it. And also I'm going to do Clawdeen. Clawdeen's hair has come out lovely. Can you see that? She's had it curled. So she's, the only thing Clawdeen is missing is the fur cuffs around her shins and her like little fur jacket thing. So I'm going to make her one. And what I did was I ordered a sample of fur from eBay, and this was the size of the sample. And I've cut it to the size that I need to make her jacket. And the way I'm going to do it is the way that I've seen it done on Bratz dolls, and that is to sew together a little bit at each side like this. I've measured it on her, I've laid her on it and measured it, so I know that it's the right length and it's the right width. And I'm going to, when you're sewing fur, remember to tuck the fur in, otherwise you'll end up with all your fur inside instead of outside. So I've folded it together, right sides facing, and I'm just going to do a little bit of overstitching on that to hold that in place. Yeah. And then when I've done that, I'm going to literally do the same, but with the leg cuffs. I'll measure around her leg to the size that I need, and I'll make two little cuffs in the same way as this. Just get two pieces of the fur, the height, the length and width that I want, and just literally roll them together and sew them like this. So when I've done that, I'll come back to you. So I'm going to finish that, and then I'm going to do this with Sirena. Like I say, I'm going to, you could even glue this, measure it around her wrist to the size that I want. So I want it to about there. It's going to overlap a little bit, but it needs to still be able to slip on and off her wrist. So I'm going to cut it to about there. Then I'm going to roll it over like that and just stitch it, or like I say, you could even glue it. Gluing it would work just as well. Yeah, so I'll come back to you when that's done. Okay, so here we go. So I've taken my piece of fur, this is for the legs, measured it around Clawdeen's leg to the width that I want it, and then I've cut it off, measured the width, and then I've cut it. Now when you cut fur, you can't just cut straight like that. You have to work your scissors right in until you're right at the base of the fur and only cut the fabric. Otherwise you end up cutting off the length of the fur. I've got a little piece here, I'll show you. So if you were to cut that straight across like that, so you're going to cut all the fur off as well. But what you need to do is work your scissors right down till you're right at the base, and you're only cutting the fabric, and then cut across. That way you'll still be left with your long fur. See, if you cut like that, you're going to cut all the fur off. So work your scissors down to the bottom and only cut the fabric. Yeah. And when you sew fur as well, if we're going to sew this seam together, tuck all your fur in like this. So this is what I've done to make my leg and arm things. So tuck all your fur in, and I've just overstitched along like that. So this is what it looks like. That's one side, and then I've done the other side and turned it through. So I'm going to turn this side through. It's quite easy to do because it's not really thin. Just poke your finger through. So that's that done. And as you can see, if you do that, you can't even see the seam. Now I like the length of this fur, but you know, for some it might be too long, because it is long for, it is longer than what she has originally, I think, but I don't care. If you didn't like it that long, you could always trim it with your scissors, that's fine, but I quite like it, so I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to pop her jacket on, and like I say, it's like one of those jackets that I think looks like a furry sausage, yeah, that the brats have. So yeah, that's what she's wearing, that's what I've made her. And like I say, what I bought was a sample of this fur, because it is quite expensive to buy this long fur, but it was cheaper than buying the accessories, you know, that come with her. So yeah, it was actually cheaper to buy a sample of fur than it was to buy the accessories, and it hasn't taken me that long to make it, so yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that. Wow, look, doesn't she look fabulous? Look at that, she looks fabulous. And I've got one leg cuff on, so I'm just going to put on the other. I've taken off her shoe so that I can do it. I'm going to just turn the cuff, and I've done the same as with the other. I've joined the seam there like so, tuck in all the fur, and then I'm just going to poke that all the way through. So I've got the, pull all the fur out, and you can't see the seam when you sew fur if you do it like that. Pop that on her leg like so. Pop her other shoe on. And that's her done. Now, I know that she should have some little gold bits above there like that, but I don't care. I think for display purposes, she looks fabulous. She's, considering that this doll was 20p from the car boot, I'm really happy with that. Really happy with her. Here she is. She's got her... What I did was I found her a new hand because she was missing a hand. I've curled all her hair, which looks really good. It really has come out well. These Monster High dolls have that sort of hair that curls really well. She's got her jacket on now that I've made her, which really was really simple to make. And like I say, if you wanted to, you could trim that a bit shorter, but I think it looks great. I love it. I'm going to keep it like that. Yeah. And then she has her ankle cuffs on, which also look fabulous. So that's her done. And then for Sirena, what I've done is I've got my piece of tassel. I bought 1/2 metre of tassel from eBay, and I have used it for other things too. I used it on my Uma doll. I used some of it to decorate her skirt with. So what I've done, I've measured around her wrist like this, roughly, and then trimmed across, measured like that, trimmed across, and then just stitched it together like so. So I've now got a little tube there, and I'm just going to pop those on, to pop her hands off to do it because I won't get her hands through. So off with your hands, Sirena. And this Sirena was to replace the one I had, because the one I had, her head come off, because the neck had been, it had just been glued on, so that was really disappointing, but there you go. Now then, she says, confidently says she's going to slip this on, and it's not going on very easily at all, but yeah, it's a bit fiddly, but you can get it on. Now, that's that on, and when we pop her hand back on, that will hold that in place. Yeah, so that's one hand and one cuff, and just turn the seam to the bottom so you can't see it. Make sure the tassels are all down the sides like so, and then we'll do the other side the same, she says. Hopefully it'll be a bit easier to get this side on. Yeah, so that's that side on. Yeah, so I did have all the pieces for Sirena, but like I say, her head had, the seller had glued her head on, and it just came off one day. We didn't realise that that's what had happened, and yeah, it was quite disappointing really. So now I'm going to get her hands both to the same height, because I'm now going to trim this tassel, and I believe when her hands are up like that, it should come to just below her waist. So I'm going to trim it to about there. There we go. And there she is. that's Sirena all done. So she's got her tassels. That was the only thing she was missing. And like I said, I've lost that little bit that goes over her chest. I suspect it's fallen down the back of my desk, so we will find it sometime in the future when we're clearing out. She's had her hair done. Her hair's really long, and the curl hasn't stayed in that quite as well, because I did use bigger curlers at the bottom of that one, but the ones at the top are lovely. Yeah, so I may just redo the bottom of her hair. I don't know, I haven't decided on that yet. But yeah, doesn't she look great? I'm so happy with those two dolls for that little bit of work, for about 10 minutes work, and those little bits off eBay. I've now got complete dolls. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you got some tips from it. Look at this fur, it is just fabulous. Yeah, I hope you picked up some tips from it, especially on how to sew fur and how to cut fur. Yeah, do it carefully or else you'll end up losing the length of your fur. Yeah, look how much taller Clawdeen is than Sirena. Mind you, Sirena is resting on her tail. Yeah. Yeah, so that's those two. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. And today's shout out is going to go to Sean Cottrell, who has been a fabulous help to me over the weeks, helping me name my Bratz dolls. So thank you, Sean, and thank you everyone. Bye for now.